Hey everyone, here are the 20 most underrated pals in Palworld's 1.0 update. Some of these here can aid your exploration quite a bit, others will help out in combat a lot or make resource gathering a whole lot easier. So we're breaking down the 20 best here, starting off with Crozero. This is such a good pal because of its ability Leap Stance. Even at level 1, without having it fully condensed, it can do some pretty cool stuff. For example, you can use this to actually make it to the Skyreach Islands at the very start of the game, as soon as you hit level 11. So yeah, this is a pretty good pal in general, but it also makes for a really good early game base pal with watering, handiwork, gathering, and transporting all of 1 out of 1, but you can use books to increase that. And the nice thing about them is you just come from the Hill of Beginnings and they're just going to spawn in right here. Now next up is a pal I think a lot of people kind of underrate here with Mammorest. Now what makes Mammorest such a good pal is it's good for not just mining but also for logging. Now it is kind of an early game pal around like level 30-ish here, so it increases logging efficiency by 500 and mining efficiency by 2000%. And it's also good at planting, lumbering, and mining at your base. But honestly, early game, all the way through mid game, and even into the late game, if you need to gather resources, this is one of the best pals to do it because it's just an absolute beast at destroying everything. And it is the first boss fight that you can find at the start of the game here, yeah, level 38. The next up is Herbal. Now, some people may not consider this to be a underrated pal because it is actually really good because of its ability Herbal Pulse. When it's in your party, it uses healing powers to restore 60% of the player's max health when incapacitated, with a cooldown reduction when it's max condensed here. As a grass neutral type, it is not like super strong offensively, and I will keep the passives the same on all these pals just so you can see what their attacks will be at max condensed with the current passive skills here of Demon God, Serenity, Musclehead, and Immortality. But yeah, it is super cute, but really useful and reminds me of another type of Pokemon. But basically what you want to do with this pal is you bring it at any time that you're fighting. And they're actually found in a lot of different locations throughout the game, most early on, just right here after you start the game. And next up we have Beacon. Now what makes Beacon so good is it's not only just a good flying mount, but it also is one of the best pals against one of the hardest boss fights in the game. So with Beacon here, when you have it fully condensed here, it will change your attack type to electric. It'll do that at any condensed level, but it'll also increase your attack by 20%. So this is basically giving you the same type attack bonus here. And this is great because one of the hardest boss fights in the game is water type, and this is the strong counter to it. It also will increase its movement speed by 25% for every other electric pal in your party. So if you want to do a full-on electric party, this could work well. It also has a great transporting skill, and it's actually a very solid attacker, so Beacon can be a really good choice. And you can find them in this location here. Now, if you need to gather ore in the early game, the best combination here is actually two pals. It's Rush Ore here, which when ridden, you also increase the efficiency of destroying stone by 2000%, but it's also good for ore too. We also have Turticle here, which will reduce the ore weight by 100% when max condensed, so you can carry an infinite amount of ore. There is also the Turticle Terra here, so I guess another recommendation. When it's in the party, reduces the weight of sulfur and coal by 100%, so if you want to farm those. It also increases the player and pal's ground damage to enemy weak points by 100%, meaning ground type effective attacks will be doing more than 100% extra damage. This is also the second most expensive pal in the game, so you can catch a bunch of these and sell them to the pal merchants. So really good pals here. These three all come together as a group, or I guess just these two in particular in the early game. This one's more so a later game section, but make it ore weigh nothing and also make it so that you can destroy stone and ore quicker. It's just so good. It is the skill Reckless Charge. Here's what makes Rush Ore so good, because you can use that basically just to go rush yourself forward into any different types of ore and destroy it. So yeah, that makes him really good with this combination. And Rush Ore can be found in these locations here. Turticle has a lot of locations. You'll probably bump into many of them as you play. And then Turticle Terra, I found this to be the best location, especially if you want to farm it and sell them because they're worth a lot. Just right here, although you can find them in these sections. Now next up is Catris. Now Catris is an interesting one because it has multiple pal skills. Now what's great about this is it's going to make neutral pals drop 80% more items when defeated. Using this with Blaze Hell and Noct, you get a 160% because they will actually stack being different partner skills. This is great because you can use this to farm Mimogs and get dog coins. That's going to be the best farming method for dog coins, which are really useful items. Now its other ability is also incredible at any point in the game, and it has a 50% chance for your pal spheres to not be consumed when used. Amazing, just amazing. And you can find Catris at these sections here, and it is definitely worth grabbing. Next up is this cutie here, Celery. Now, Celery is actually really good for a few different reasons. Now, it has two special skills as well. When it's in your party, it modifies the equipped glider so that you go flying a lot quicker. This is amazing. This is also something you can get from another pal. Well, I guess Calamari has a little bit of a different skill, making it so you float a little bit longer. This one speeds up your speed of gliding, which is something you do a lot in the early and later sections of the game. But it also prevents fall damage and extends the duration of that high speed gliding. So yeah, this is a really good pal because you can just buff up your mobility so much without having to even use a whole lot of stuff. So I would recommend having one in your party. Not the strongest, but it is something, and it is a cute pal. So yeah. And next up we have Incineram. Now Incineram is actually a very solid pal. You can use this all the way through to the end game. It also looks pretty cool, kind of like Houndour vibes. Now you can see it's got a solid attack stat. It's Fire and Dark, being one of the best types in the game, strong against Ice, Grass, and normal types. Now it also does come with some pretty nice moves as well. So Ignis Rage, Fireball will learn naturally, and it also has the Hellfire Claw, which is this exclusive skill here, which gets a damage multiplier. So yeah, you want to use this, and you can manually tell it to use this skill as well. But the big thing, in my opinion, is that it's got 3 in Kindling, 2 in Handiwork, 2 in Transporting, and a 3 in Mining, making it an exceptionally good base pal for like the early mid game. And you can even use this in the late game because that is very good coverage. And you can find this one around the volcano here, and there's also Incineram Noct, although I prefer just regular Incineram. Now, next up we got Lee's Punk here. Now, this is actually a really good pal because you can use this to kind of cheese a lot of situations. You got the too cool to be seen. So when you use this, it'll make you turn invisible. Now, what's great about that is you can use this in boss fights. You can use this if you're doing like oil rigs and you want to sneak your way around, because it'll turn you invisible when you're max condensed for 20 seconds here. And you can see we got the cooldown back before we even have to run out of this. So yeah, you can turn invisible, do what you need to do with the invisibility here. So yeah, you got that 8-second cooldown, boom, you got it back almost immediately. So the nice thing about that is once you have that, you can also bring in another pal to make that a 4-second cooldown, so you can get it even quicker. It is a very good skill, and there's 2 different types of Lee's Punk as well. And both of them can be found on the volcanic island here in these sections on the beach. You can't see me. Now next up we got a very strong offensive 1-2 push here. Now, Fellbat and Lavender. What makes them so good is the fact that they are going to give you lifesteal. Now, this has a little asterisk. It has to be the pal that is out alongside you for this to occur. So it'll basically make it so that 9% of the damage dealt is restored as health. On certain moves that you can teach these, like Apocalypse, for example, that hits large bosses a lot. Now, this is super useful because it's going to give you some extra survivability. I like them. They appear at nighttime, so that's one that you'll have to look out for at night. I know some people don't love Lavender here, so that's why Fellbat also does the same thing. So the Fellbat is a pretty cool looking fella. Although you will have to look over in this section here to be able to find them, whereas Lavender is a bit more, doesn't show you it, but they're available in the desert section here at nighttime only. So just heads up on that, they are going to be found at nighttime. Now next up is Gelroy, which I don't know why it's a dark type, but it is. We won't question it. It's a cool little guy. Now what makes Gelroy so good? Partner skill again. It's also really good at watering if you have a Jelliet, but basically you want to go salvaging. This is going to give you the best possible return. It'll double your items. Now, there's been a lot of tests that I was doing here just to make sure of this. I thought this could stack because it doesn't actually say it does not stack next to this, but it doesn't stack. So you can only have one of these here. I've tested this a bunch, and it seems like if you have multiple, it does better, but doesn't. So it also has Handiwork, Medicine, Transporting, and 2 in Watering, but it'll also increase watering speeds if you have Jelliet and Gelroy by 120%. Jelliet also has the same feature. Jelliet's good for fishing because it's going to give you the 95% increased items for fishing, but salvaging is so much quicker. You can get a lot of Coralum. You can get yourself the Applied Technical books and max out work suitability. And it's also a good source of different schematics. So yeah, Gelroy drop is great. And Gelroy can be found over here, although there are other locations that you're able to find it in. So yeah, go exploring. Nighttime locations is where it's at. So yeah, right on the beaches there and around these sections. Now, Needle and Needle Noct are incredible because they open up and make some of the builds in this game so much better. Now, it's because of their partner skill. Now, Needle Noct is really the true MVP here because it comes with the Ivy Covered 6 whenever it's in your party. So you don't even have to have it out in your party. Despite it having a decent attack stat, Ivy Covered will slow down the enemy and entangle them, but the biggest benefit is it makes them take double fire damage. So with a particular setup, you can actually have Needle and Needle Noct here, but then use like Ragnarok Nighthawk to change your attack type to fire and boosted, Chill at Ignis, one of my favorites, which will change your attack type to fire and boosted, or even Wixen, which will give you a 50% boost. And that's not all, folks, because when you got that double damage, you can also have Needle for a 65% damage increase. So yeah, stacking these together gives you some insane damage. It's actually a very fun setup as well. And they can be found in the desert region right up here. As well, Needle Noct will be available in the desert at nighttime, so you can actually find them both at nighttime anywhere around there. Now next up we got Moldron. Now this is a pal that was like one of the strongest in the game, but I feel like he's getting a little overshadowed with some of the other pals that are here. Now it is really strong. You can see almost 5k attack. This is because it has an attack increase by 8% for every other fire and ground type in your party. So that is obviously nice. It also comes with its own unique skill, Magma Laser. You want to use this often because it is an insanely powerful attack. It leaves pools of magma on the ground here. It also has Magma Spit, which is kind of same concept here. So yeah, incredible move pool, and it's a fire type, being one of the best offensive types. But I'm also going to mention Moldron Christ, who has Ice Spit and Ice Laser on the other end of the things here. Now, this is another pal that's amazing because it counters dragon types, and it also has, when it's in your party, increases the player and pal's ice damage to enemies' weak points by 40%. This means that it's going to increase the ice damage against dragon types, so basically super effective damage. So yeah, if you want to take on dragons, Moldron Christ. If you want to take on everything else, Moldron. They're both an amazing pal, and I feel like they kind of got, like, I know that these are strong pals, and I'm including them in an underrated video, but they definitely are strong, and I feel like people kind of underrate them now with the latest update. And you can find Moldron in this region, and then Moldron Christ is in the world tree just right there. Now next up is Valentail. Now what's crazy about this is it's one of the best pals to fight Panthalus with, believe it or not. When it's in your party, it reduces the gravity of the player, making them more floaty when jumping and falling. Now this is what it looks like. Single hop. Look at that. Pretty good. But it gets even crazier. If you have the anti-gravity belt, you can equip that and then jump even higher and higher and higher. You can go way up high. So yeah, that is what it's for. It's basically just a jump booster, making it kind of like Crow Zero in the sense that you get a increase your overall exploration. But yeah, it is kind of funny. It is hard to control, so just be mindful. Some people don't like that increased jump because it makes things a little bit more clunky, but it's great if you're building a base and need to go up high. And you can find Valentail over here in the Skybreak, but again, you can actually come here pretty early if you wanted to. Now next we got Dojin here. Now Dojin's pretty cool, or a master, but it is a very effective pal because when you're activated, it's going to take you to the nearest base. So you can use this as a way to get to, you know, if you're going exploring, it will save you so much time. That's why I like that. Although there are mods that let you just transport yourself wherever you need to, you can just use this, Carry On My Wayward Son, take you right back to where you came from. So yeah, this is a great pal. Neutral type, but it's also good in the base because it's got like 4 handiwork, 3 lumbering, 2 medicine production, 3 transporting, and 3 gathering. And you can find him in and around the Sakurajima Islands over there. Now Lunaris here is a really cool pal because when you have it out, it's going to make your orbs home in on the target. So you can use this to make catching a little bit easier. If you like to get the headshots, it will interfere with that, but yeah, it's going to let them just home straight in, so you don't have to think much. It is beaming everything out of the sky, but yeah, it's great because you can just toss out your pal spheres like that, and they just go flying and catch different pals that may not be even paying attention. So if you're looking to catch, if you're looking to do really anything, yeah, Lunaris is really cool for that. But it also gives you the ability where it's going to give you 600 increased carry capacity, which is obviously really good. It's a cool alien too, as a neutral type here. It comes with a 4 in handiwork, 2 in gathering, and 2 in transporting here. And then it also does have some nice moves like Holy Burst. And it's a pal you can find at level 35, and it is right there on the map. Now next up is this super cool pal, Gildra. Now, this is actually a really strong one because whenever it's out, it's got its own revive skill. So you don't have to worry about it. It'll get its hunger to reduce to 0 here. It's just really good for that reason. It's a dark and ground type here, so it does obviously have some nice moves. It also has a Mummy Rush here, which is a really cool one, extending its bandages out. And its attack stat is very respectful, 43k here with those passes I mentioned at the start of the video. Also comes with a very good handiwork, transporting, and medicine production skill. And it's just a cool pal. That's really it. So with this one, you can obviously find them all over the desert. Now, Sylvestius is the defensive king or queen. What is good about it is that it comes with an incredibly useful skill. the Aegis Shield. When it's in your party, it reduces the shield regeneration delay by 60%, so you get your shield back quicker, and it reduces the damage taken by your shield by 80%. That is insane, because that is just reducing the amount of damage you're taking by that much. Now, this doesn't apply when it breaks your shield and then hits your health, but hey, reducing the damage by 80% is amazing when you have a quick recovery shield. You can combo this too. Like I mentioned previously, using something like Lee's Punk here turns you invisible, letting your shield regen. And since Sylvestius' skills are active whenever it's not as your active pal, you can have Lee's Punk out, turn invisible, have your shield regen with Sylvestius just in the backup there. And it's also a good pal for lumbering at your base, and a pretty solid offensive pal too, believe it or not. So yeah, defensive king, queen, it's a really good dragon type. And you can find yourself Sylvestius right here in Faebreak Isles, and I would highly recommend coming in and grabbing it. And our last recommendation is Mimikyu here, Hoodle. Now, what makes Hoodle so good is if you're going to farm things like dog coins or really anything, its Void Dweller here will increase the damage dealt to enemies that are not in combat by 100%. This sounds like it just applies one time, but it's weird how the game works where enemies don't enter combat immediately, so you can use this skill and get that damage boost and hit it multiple times. So this is great for farming. It's great for a lot of different things, especially if you use a pal's like strongest move. Getting a big buff to its attack like that is great. It's amazing pal for farming. It's just really good in general for a lot of things. And I also love the like red dripping from its face there. It is such a cool looking pal. And you can find Hoodle in the Skyreach over in that section there. And I would highly recommend grabbing it. It's just a really good pal. So Dupin is my favorite pal here, but let me know what you think to be the most underrated pal in Palworld's 1.0 update. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys all have a great day. We'll catch you in the next one.